guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. Next, we're going to go and take a look at Dark King FUU. Now, Dark King FUU has got some stuff, right? Like, he orb changes, he supports, and he does have dodge in his kit. All very good things that we love. But the way his kit is sort of mixed together, I do not like at all. And I don't think it's going to be very effective a good amount of the time. Now, people are very high on this FUU, so we'll see. Let me try and keep an open mind here as we're kind of like evaluating what FUU brings to the table for us. Let's quickly go over what he does, and I can explain like what he does that I don't like. Now, let's start with at least a bit of a decent positive here. Is of course FUU's link set. First and foremost, of course, being the fact that FUU is a Big Bad Boss's character. Big Bad Bosses, of course, is such a powerful link. So very good. You know, being able to have that around, obviously, is major. So his link set here is Demonic Power, Brainiacs, Cold Judgment, Big Bad Bosses, Godly Power, Fear and Faith, and Fierce Battle. FUU, of course, is on Battle Wits, Realm of Gods, Time Traveler, Dragon Ball Hero crossover, and Accelerated Battle. So there are quite a few teams here that he is on as well that potentially could use the help. Now, I guess theoretically, like, we could say that he doesn't need to be on the Heroes team. Let's sort of go in depth with that. So FUU gets 150% attack and even start a turn. He gets another 150% attack and defense on super attack. Very good, right? Then he gives 30% attack and defense to extreme class allies. So he wants to be around villains, which does hurt his presence on the hero team quite a bit. Because if we're going to start to construct the heroes team, we start with Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, and then we have normal Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, right? Then, when there's 3 or more allies in the crossover category, he will create STR key spheres. Now, that's where you could say maybe, you know, you could just run them off of the heroes or crossover team anyway. Because, I mean, this one ability is kind of sucks anyway, right? Like, just creating STR orbs. Like, he is a type orb changer, which is typically not very good if the character is not going to go slot 1, right? Like, with God Goku, you could get away with it a little bit, because he could go at slot 1, and he's guarding with dodge, huge dodge, 60% dodge, guard, he's stacking, he has multiple supers, right? Plus, he's on these teams where it's very easy to cycle in Bulma, too, to have rainbow orbs kind of, like, scattered about. FUU, I mean, we could run him on, I mean, I guess Fusion Zamasu's team, or we could certainly have Chilai. I mean, if we're fighting Dismal Future Red Zone enemies, we could maybe have Beerus as well. Be a bit of a quirky team, though. I mean, we'll be running Tech Zamasu, AGL Zamasu, Chilai, Beerus, and FUU. Like, that just feels like a disaster, but, I mean, maybe it would work, I don't know. And then, if FUU gets an STR Key Sphere, he gets 100% attack. And then here's where we get to kind of, like, I think the very problematic thing. So, FUU gets 10% dodge. He gets 1 key for villain class allies as support. And then an extra 4% attack and defensive support up to 20%. So it's the dodge can go up to 50%, the key can go up to 5%, and then the stats can go up to 20%. And this is for every STR or rainbow key sphere he gets. Now, this is the issue with FUU. So here we are turn 1, right? And FUU did create STR key spheres for us, but this is not going to work out very well. Typically, with type orb changers, you will create these orbs, and usually it's going to be an issue where, like, if it's a slot 3 character, which FUU would be probably as a support, you're not going to be able to get those orbs. You're not always going to have the perfect RNG with orbs. Now, let me take a look here. So, right here, FUU is at 158k defense. Remember, he gets 150% on super, and then his super attack effect is giving him 30% defense. And then he does also seal. I do like the seal. The seal could be useful for burst mode, super battle road, battlefield, these types of things. That could be good. But I mean, that defense is pretty bad. Now, here's where I think people are being baited a little bit. It's because you put hearts next to them, and things change quite a bit. Because next to hearts, we have Brainiacs, Cold Judgment, and Big Bad Bosses. I mean, that's 60... What is it? 60% defense? Oh, wait, let me... so, we have Brainiacs, that's 15% attack and defense. Cold Judgment is 20%, right? 20% defense? No, 25% defense. And then Big Bad Bosses is 25% defense. So Hearts and FUU from Lynx are giving us 65% defense. Plus, we're getting the support, which works well. But I don't know about just throwing Hearts on like a hero team constructed like this. Hearts is going to encounter some issues if you are not able to finish the fight off fast. It is going to be a bit of a disaster there. So I don't know about FUU. I think FUU is a little bit more of a character that's going to bait people. At his best, I think he's quite good, right? Because you'd have a 50% chance to dodge while being a very powerful support. And, I mean, his stats would be good. So, like, right here, again, remember, he's getting 150% on super, plus he's getting 30% defense. So he's a villain character rocking, what, 700k defense or something like that after he supers. Potentially the 50% chance to dodge as support is decent, but it's not always going to work out that way, and especially as the orb changer like this. So I guess, I mean, here we could just hit this right here. Oh, okay, that fell down pretty good. Okay, perfect. So now this is 6 key spheres, so that will activate FUU's full buffs, right? So we have the full stats, we have the full key, we have the full dodge, all of that good stuff. So he's up to 277, right, with a bunch of his links activated and stuff like that. All right, let's see what FUU gives us. We're 7 minutes in. Oh, man, I blabbered away quite a bit there. Whoops. Okay. Oh, no, people are going to be mad at this one. Okay, all right, let's... sure, I guess that the FUU video will be a little bit longer. It's fine, it's fine. Listen, man, this is what I do. Talk about Dokkan. It is my life's calling. 8 million I will take on a dodging support. Is going to shoot out 8 million. We will take that for sure. Right, because remember, we want strong support characters who can really help out a lot of these units, right? Like, that's supports just change things so much. They are so valuable to have, right? Powerful support type characters. The problem is the supports just also need to be effective enough to live attacks. That's the big thing. Like, you can't just be you can't be physical Kid Buu out there, right? You have to be able to handle pressure aimed at you. Now, FUU, with his orbs, if orbs work out well for us, say we're fighting Omega or we're fighting Fusion Zamasu, his dodge is going to be right there at the start of turn. So what that means is FUU potentially could handle the AoEs, right? Again, depending upon what the orbs are going to look like for us. I think that, number one with FUU, I don't think that... yeah, because see, here's the problem, right? FUU, it's not orbs. He needs rainbow orbs or STR orbs specifically, right? So, I mean, we could get a turn like this, and, like, we're mostly screwed. Well, is this going to fall down correctly? I guess it does, okay. Well, and then we get 7, okay, sure. That works out well. We're going to need to be able to get those specific orbs, right? As long as we're getting those orbs, he definitely can have an impact on the fight. That's not bad. I mean, if we get that, he's going to Giga Charge Hearts as well, right? So, remember, we go over Brainiacs, Cold Judgment, Big Bad Bosses, all of these powerful links for FUU. But that will also apply to Hearts, too. Yeah, 9 million, that's very good. We will definitely take that every single time on a dodging support type character. Double super attack, that means he gets double 30% defense. So now, yeah, if he eats this has got to be double digits. This is type disadvantage, 700k super attack, and it's at double digits. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. like, that's, so I was gonna say, like, FUU, right? What's the difference between, like, running Xenopan and FUU? Now, Pan has her dodge just start of turn. You're always gonna have it. And then her support is better as well because she's just hitting all Dragon Ball Hero characters. But the difference between FUU and Pan is FUU is going to have a nice amount of defense, right? Especially if he's going to double super attack, or if, you know, he's able to super first before he gets hit, which the two hardest fights in the game, I guess, to be fair, they do have AoEs, and they do throw those out at you fast. But again, FUU does have the dodge. As long as you're able to get your orbs, FUU can definitely contribute. But I'm not so sure about how these, like, the team build, if we're going up against, you know, say, Fusion Zamasu or Omega. It's like, against Omega, Hearts eventually is going to be worthless against Omega. Like, I would not run Hearts against Omega. Because once Hearts' initial sort of, like, you know, his start of turn guard wears off, and then your first turn transformed as Hearts, once those two things are gone, Hearts will be a loser against Omega. Unrunnable. And then without all of those links, you know, Cold Judgment and Brainiacs and stuff like that, FUU will lose the defensive portion that, again, like a character like Xenopan would not have, or something like that. I probably, in a lot of these runs, would much rather just run Demon Goddess Toa right here. We hit this right here. And all we'll be able to get is one orb right here. This is where, you know, concerns would come in. When we get turns where we're not able to do this. I would have fears that this would fail us in a critical moment, right? Not being able to have this. I mean, we could... Who else is another character that could help make this work? Would be like Robel. Robel on the Heroes team, right? Remember, I mean, Robel has a Scouter, Dodge, and Rainbow Orb changing. But it's just... It's a lot to make a floating support character work. I am not as high on FUU as other people are. Like, you know, at his best, yeah, he can put up stuff, but his restrictions are tough. And he is leading you to want to build a villain crossover team, too, which, again, is certainly not going to work. I would say the biggest sin of the 2022 Dragon Ball Hero characters was the fact that it's not that okay, we have to run like a crossover team or something like that. That's not the problem. The problem in 2022 was they wanted us to build a super class crossover team or an extreme class crossover team. That's just not going, that doesn't work. That's not happening, right? Like, there's no way. Not against these really, really tough fights. All right, 7.8 right there. A little bit lower because we weren't able to get the orbs on this turn. I think we'll probably get one more turn after this. All right, Rose supering. Again, we don't dodge, although we only had, what, a 10% chance to dodge? Still double digits, though. Okay, then this super, this is going to do nothing as well if Rose's didn't do anything. Those bosses, their super attacks, they're like, it's like 750k is what they do. So they're like 750. Remember, FUU's a villain, so he'll take a little bit less. Although, again, Rose is a type disadvantage, though. Do want to keep that in mind. So, yeah, I'm not really too sure. Sometimes I could run FUU. I think FUU, with good luck, FUU could probably be decent against Fusion Zamasu, I suppose. Because you make it through the first phase, and the boy is going to have type advantage. And physical Fusion Zamasu is very, very tough, but he doesn't have, like, AoEs or anything like that, right? So we could have FUU, again, in, like, the last slot. And we should be able to sort of avoid the worst of physical Zamasu. But in most of these runs, like, there's no way I'm running Hearts, I don't think. Would I run Hearts against Fusion Zamasu? Actually, I probably... Hearts is actually probably a decent run against Fusion Zamasu. Yeah, funny enough, I feel like these guys would work against Fusion Zamasu. Because it's like, you know, once you make it through the initial devastation of Zamasu's AoEs, if you have a bunch of STR characters going up against Physical Fusion Zamasu, you're looking good. Now, there's pretty much, like, no characters on Heroes, I think, that, like, Physical Fusion Zamasu, if he supers immediately, like, you lose if he connects with you. But FUU, Hearts, Limit Breaker, Vegito, I think Super Saiyan 3 Rose, a lot of these characters could eat a super from Physical Fusion Zamasu after they super, and you could be good, right? Like, certainly. So against, like, a Physical Fusion Zamasu, like a Zamasu run, you just need him to not super right away. And Hero should be able to handle it, right? Because, again, remember, your HP, even though some of these characters, you know, if we were on future Gohan's team, it would be fine, right? Like, oh, yeah, we just take our, you know, 200 billion, whatever. So Hearts isn't guarding anymore, right? Let's just hit this. Yeah, let's hit this. We'll be able to get our orbs right here, bam. And we could probably go ahead and make this the final turn. 277 right there. Again, with the massive buffs from Hearts, having these links up, again, for both of them, it's huge stats. So that certainly does work well. So let me know what you guys think of Dark King FUU. If you're able to get his orbs, he could certainly be very effective. We are not going to hate on characters that have dodge. And, I mean, the thing is, FUU is not exactly dodge or die. He should be able to handle normals against, I mean, provided he's not in slot 1, right? But FUU should be able to handle normals for most of the tough bosses and stuff like that, right? It's just the supers and then what would happen if, you know, we're not able to get our orbs. We'll give him some runs. I'm not sure. We'll definitely do Vegito. I'm going to do, like, all the normal, like, you know, kind of like difficult content, kind of like content I do with Vegito. And then I might give specific characters, specific videos in certain fights. You know, I do think FUU probably could be impactful against Fusion Zamasu. And it's like, if a character could be good against Fusion Zamasu, I am not going to hate on them. It's just, if you can be good against Physical Fusion Zamasu, against that, and that nasty-ass AoE at the start that Int Zamasu has, we're definitely not going to hate. So we might give FUU his own video against Fusion Zamasu. Maybe there's other characters, like, we'll probably do a specific, like, I think Super Saiyan 3 Rose could be pretty powerful against, like, Omega. You know, we'll kind of, like, shotgun a bunch of different content like that. We'll see with FUU. I think a lot of it, though, is just RNG with his orbs, right? Like, if we're able to get the orbs from him, typically in a normal run, I probably would be floating him almost the majority of the time. I guess with God Goku, sometimes it's like, at a certain point, you do kind of got to put him what the orbs are sometimes. So maybe there would be points in some runs where it's like, all right, well, we're not floating FUU off, we're going to put him in slot 2, because we're going to have to get those orbs. I mean, that's the issue with type orb changing, is it's not... Rainbow orb changing typically is very powerful and can kind of feed, sometimes not even that rotation, but also the next rotation. Type orb changing, it's not as consistent as that, and it can be very tough, so we'll see. So, let me know what you guys think of Dark King FUU, and I'll catch y'all next time.